I want to tell you what really got me on the right path was God himself. He said, and I don't understand it, why he gave me a chance. Because if I had died in my previous years of life, I would have gone straight to hell. I was living for flesh. I was living for pleasure.
Dude, that's powerful.
And he gave me an opportunity to change it around because I felt like he knew I would.
Yeah. Ready to roll?
Yeah.
What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit podcast. What we do on this podcast is bring in guests from all different backgrounds and all different walks of life to share their journey and everything along the way that led them to where they're at today. So if that is for you, like, subscribe, all those wonderful things. And if that is not for you, I don't know what your problem is, but it's time to jump on board because we're here to make an impact, and that is what we do. Thank you. But without further ado, I would love to introduce today's guest, Joseph Baydoun.
Thank you.
Welcome. You always get that singular round of applause, man. That's how I roll with it. Get you amped up.
I'm excited.
Are you nervous?
No, I've done a podcast before, actually two, and we went one. They mostly wanted to talk about the military stuff and the past and all that. But I like this conversation.
Yeah.
Sit here and just talk about anything you want to talk about.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, man. And well, then, so you know what to do, man. You're used to this. I do got a quick question. So you're a Marine. Adam down there is a Marine as well.
Okay.
And then I know all these roofing guys.
Yeah.
Got like a roofing crew of people. You know Matt Willard?
I worked for him before this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Matt is a great guy. He taught me everything I know. I actually worked for a commercial roofing company before him for a couple months.
Oh.
And they taught me everything wrong.
Oh, really?
And I worked for Matt, and it was very difficult for me to transition. And because you learn one thing one way and you're invested, and then you go to another company and they teach you another way. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
So one was more commercial, though, of course, with flat roofing. And then Matt mostly does residential.
Yeah.
And he's a very good, down-to-earth, loving guy. And he taught me exactly what I needed to know and let me go. He did it the right way. He said, you figure it out. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
He taught me the basics, but he said, basically, dude, you need to figure that out. Let me know what you find. And he would always be there for me if I needed him. But he was just like, and that was the best. That's the quickest way to learn yourself.
Yeah.
I have a problem right here, and my problems with roofing happened with a tornado first, so it's a lot. There was a lot that happened. It was siding, HVAC, the carpets, everything got messed up with this home, and I'm like, okay, dokie, I gotta figure this out.
Dang.
Yeah, and this all happened up in this was 2 years ago in December 8th, and it was in Clarksville, Madison, Hendersonville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, man. That's, well, I mean, thank God for Matt.
Yeah.
The thing is like, first of all, he's one of the most solid people I know.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the kindest dudes I know.
Very kind.
So he's been able to give me a lot of insight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Matt's solid, man. It's cool. So we know all these people. So, and for those of you that don't know, he and I used to go to the same gym, but we never spoke.
Right. We
That's
just pass
about
each other. Hey,
Yeah, it's like, so,
we're here to work out. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate that because I get in the zone when I'm there. I'm not much of a conversation person at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about it. And then recent guest Justin Allender came on and found out y'all were close and grew up together, got deployed together. And I was like, damn, I got to reach out to this guy. There's a reason for that. So here you are, man.
Thanks
Welcome.
for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Honored to have you. Well, so obviously you gave a little bit. If you want to add in more, you can. But really just before we start on your journey, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do in your life day to day.
So I retired from the military 3 years ago. Not the best outing I ever wanted, but I retired. I wasn't happy. I was doing recruiting. So I did 12 years in the Marines, and I did the rest in the National Guard as a recruiter. And recruiting is, you can ask any recruiter, it's not the most awesome job. When you are putting people in, and there's a lot of people to put in, you're high, you're happy, everyone loves you. When you have a bad month, you're a piece of shit. And
Really?
yeah, you're just garbage. And I think every recruiter will agree with me on that. So, but once it became, I got taken out of the field from recruiting to go do other jobs such as education department and everything like that, which was fun for a little bit. I drove a lot all over Tennessee, and I spoke to every dean in college to make partnerships, because we had a program that paid fully for our soldiers at the time, and I just made relationships with them to get that going, and that was, I felt important, which is what is really important for most people in jobs. They want to feel important, like they're doing something. They're not just collecting a paycheck. So once I got out of that, went back into the field. I did recruiting for a little bit. Was not doing well because of COVID. No one wanted to join. It was a whole different atmosphere. Finally, the day came, and I was just, just wanted to get out.
Yeah.
And so I left, and I retired right at 20 years.
20 years, man. Yeah. Nice. How old are you?
42.
42? Sweet, yeah. I did my 6, but I got some friends that are like, close to retirement. It's kind of crazy thinking about it, because, I did 6, and it feels like time's just flown, and it hasn't in certain ways. But then I got buddies, my best friend I joined with at the time, he's like, 15, 16 years in now. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, that is nuts. It's just kind of crazy. Yeah, that career flies by.
The only reason I stayed in is because I got stop lossed on my last deployment. I was supposed to get out May 19th, and we deployed May 1st. And they were like, no, you're going. I was like, okay. So we went back to Iraq. We did a workup for, 5 months. And then we went to Iraq for the rest of the time of, 8 months or so.
Yeah.
Nothing going on. We're the last infantry battalion in Iraq. So there's nothing happening. We're just doing a lot of security, and we're training Iraqis. Mm-hmm. This is 2009 to 2010. And, I got really good at Call of Duty in some of those spaces, because, you have a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
And then you go out during the day and you train Iraqis, because they wanted their own Marine Corps. And so we trained them in that. And we trained them in martial arts. I was a black belt MAP martial arts instructor for the Marines.
Cool.
Which is, you have to love it. And I was just like, I'm just doing this because, I wanted something more to do.
Yeah.
So we did that. We trained them. They do not, the culture for, if you don't already know, Iraqis, they don't like war, and even though they're in it all the time, they don't want to do that at all. I don't think most people do, but
yeah,
they were training, and some of them would kill themselves. They didn't want to come back.
Damn.
There was one time when this guy took an AK to his face down towards the harbor we were on, and he just did not want to come back. And if you run away, they'll find you. So it's hard. You can't just run away into the desert, So
dang, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty graphic.
That's nuts. Did you see it?
I saw the aftermath.
Okay.
And that's, we were involved with them, and they had their own barracks, and we were working alongside the Royal Marines and Royal Navy, mm-hmm. and the Coast Guard, because we were right there on the harbor down towards Kuwait, and we would board on these boats to check them out with the Coast Guard, which they had every fun weapon, armor, they had everything, and we were like, dude, what the heck, we want this stuff.
Hook us up.
So we made friends with them. I'm still talking to the Royal Marine guys that I met. Great guys. I would love to go visit them. Anyways, so that deployment was a little different from the other ones. The earlier ones, 2004 with Allender, Justin, mm-hmm. Good friend of mine. I grew up with him, and we've known each other all our life. We've been up through the highs and lows, both of us.
Yeah, you would expect, when you meet him, you would expect his life was what it was, his childhood.
Yeah, it came out of left field one day. He called me up and was like, man, I'm going through some shit with my ex-wife. I know you went through some. And he just needed to talk and vent. And that's what guys need to do. They need to find someone to talk to and vent about this stuff, because it's going to make you crazy.
Yeah. Did you know him with, you knew him as kids too, right? Like with his dad and stuff like that? Like,
we played baseball together. Now, I didn't know a lot about his family issues or anything.
Kind of kept that quiet, yeah.
Yeah, when you're kids, you don't really know that stuff very much. But we grew up somewhat together through his schools and stuff, played baseball together. I don't know. Now we were different people then.
Of course.
We were more wild when our young Marine days and stuff. I could speak very highly of how he's changed. He's a whole different person, and he used to be not necessarily loved by all. And he had his down moments, but so did I. But yeah, he's like a godly man, a very loving man. He's giving, he's working hard. He's had more money than I will ever imagine, you know?
Yeah.
He's very smart. Like, I cannot do what he does. He works as a broker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Specifically like VA stuff as well. Yeah, man. You can tell his intelligence is up there.
Yeah.
I appreciate that about him though.
Yeah. I'm not near that.
Man, we're just very smart in our own ways.
I think so.
And I want to get back into this part of it because, this is a little further ahead. How about we rewind a little bit and go back to like your childhood? So obviously you're from this area.
Yes, Brentwood.
You're born and raised here.
I grew up right down the street. Actually.
Oh, sweet.
Went to Brentwood High. Yeah, I was very blessed with my being raised where I was. My dad worked really hard. He's from Lebanon, the real Lebanon.
Oh, really?
He came over when he was 7 to Dearborn, Michigan.
Cool.
Yeah. He worked really hard. He had like 10 siblings.
Yeah.
So mom's popping them all out. Crazy. Yeah. I haven't met them all. Some actually passed away from old age before I even got to, you know what I mean? Like,
that's wild.
Before I was born.
So you're like half Lebanese.
I am.
Dang, that's cool. What is your mom? She
Irish, Scottish.
Oh, cool.
Red hair.
Nice.
White country girl. Yeah.
That's what he liked.
That's what he liked.
He's like, he moves from there. He's like, yep, I want that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So different.
Yeah.
So I don't, I've got tan olive skin, but I look white. So my dad came over when he was 7. He got a scholarship to play football at Duke. And then he went to law school in Nashville at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Met my mom here. And this is where I've been all my life. So yeah, me and my brother's younger. My sister, she bounced a long time ago. She lives up north.
Okay.
She went to New York for her master's and met her husband up there and stayed up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
So y'all have like stayed pretty close though?
We have. My brother and sister were very close.
Yeah.
We don't talk politics. We've learned our lesson on that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's in New York, so the mindset's a little bit different.
My brother and my sister.
Oh, really?
They're left leaning and I'm right leaning. So it's just gotten to where like it was. You know what? Everyone started hating on each other like a couple years ago. They still do now, but it's not as bad. I don't think. I think people have kind of just been like giving up on it. You're not going to change people's minds.
No.
I don't like to bring politics into anything anymore. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to believe in what I do and you do, whatever.
Everybody's just butting heads with each other over this most surface level shit.
You can find an argument in any post on Facebook.
Yeah.
Anything. People just say whatever the hell they want, whether they don't sit there and be like, is it bad if I say this? No, they just say whatever.
Yeah.
And it starts arguments. There is nothing good on Facebook other than utilizing it for your business.
Yeah.
Maybe staying in touch with old friends. Otherwise, it's just a shit show.
I post some pretty positive stuff. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
But I want to be that outlier. It's almost like I feel like a kind of an outlaw to the system, right? I'm posting just good shit.
What I post is my family and godly stuff.
Yeah,
and I try to push that. And I used to post politic crap all the time. And the same 30 people will like it. And then every once in a while, you'll have your left-leaning friend go, and
you piece of crap.
Yeah. And that was my fault. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, man. And you just you realize what actually matters to post, man. Like you could post your political views, but there's a million other people doing that too.
Dude, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it's just silly.
Exactly, man. Well, I love that. I mean, so obviously y'all took that out of the equation, the political side, but everything else y'all are good. And that's smart, man. You want to keep that relationship. That's your siblings. Yeah. You love them, right? Yeah. So, and it's that unconditional love, you don't care.
I do love them very much. My sister is such a sweet girl. She is a sweet mom. And she's very laid back. I love her husband, Adam. He's a great guy, very smart. He does money stuff as well. Helps people with that. And my brother, he is a contractor. So he does a lot of flipping homes or building homes or redesigning bathrooms and stuff. And he's he's done great with that. Right now he's in Italy with his family taking a 2-week vacation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Get there.
He doesn't, but he's not like rich. He just saves up his money for that.
For great like experiences.
Dude. That's vacation for him. And that's everything he does. He doesn't buy special things. He doesn't buy other stuff for himself or his family, just vacation.
Yeah. I mean, because the life is about the experiences, not the things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not going to remember those. You're going to get a new one sometime, right?
Yeah.
So me, I like that. I'm probably always going to want a nice truck.
Yep.
But when it comes to other shit, I buy stuff for my business. That's about it. You know, because that's what's going to help me get to that financial freedom.
Yes, sir.
What would you say, you know, so you overall sounds like you had a great childhood. You were blessed.
Nothing to complain about.
Yeah. What would you think was one of the most impactful things of your childhood, though, that maybe you could reflect on that carried on to later in your life? You know, maybe something your dad or mother taught you, or, you know.
Gosh, my mom I'm more like my mom. I look like my dad. And I can't exactly say a specific quote that brought me, that I still use today from them, except for my father. He's very good with money. And I'm learning now, I'm 42 and I'm learning now that he's right about all that stuff.
Just a little bit later.
Stop acting like a playboy.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Save your money. You earned it. He is a great man to focus on and all that stuff. But, you know, you got to also understand that back in those days, it was easier things weren't so expensive. Then you were able to save money better.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to pay for homes better. Now it's nearly impossible. So you have to have a different strategy. You have to make more money, and you have to save more. You can't just buy a 4,000 square foot home for 200,000 anymore.
No.
You could 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I bought my first home in Smyrna. It was a 2,600 square foot home on top of a hill, beautiful neighborhood, great everything. It's worth $500,000 now. I bought it for 200.
Yeah.
That was not too long ago.
Dude, even when I was in the military and I partied too much, I could stretch $20 for like a week.
Dude, you remember that?
Now I just put $20 in my truck
Uh-huh.
off this exit, because Brentwood, don't get fuel in Brentwood, off this exit, and it's going to get me home, and I'm going to have to fill up before I come back tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't stretch it out like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's damn near impossible. It's crazy, the changes.
It is. Everything is way more expensive now, and I don't think we fully register that. Sometimes you go grocery shopping, and you're like, man, I used to buy all this for $100, and I'm just spent $300. Better go make more money.
Yeah, I guess I got to eat and shit.
Yeah, I got to eat. So
yeah, man. Well, that's good, dude. And so what I hear is more so, it wasn't necessarily a quote or anything, but what impacted you was the actions of your parents that carried forward.
right.
Yeah, and then you reflect on.
I've seen so many people grow up with awful parents, bad childhood, not having the means, and they're very close friends of mine. They tell me their story, and I don't say anything because I'm super blessed to have what I had, and I thank God for that. And my father, I thank him all the time.
Yeah,
it brings tears to his eyes for his son to say that to him, but I really mean it.
Yeah,
because you know, there's people out there, and because you in the military, you've seen bad things. You've seen I been to the desert where people live in little huts and stuff, and they don't have anything, and they're so happy to have a bottle of water. And I'm just like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Our problems ain't shit.
No, they
You know
aren't.
what I'm saying? I understand it's a hustle out here, and we have things to live up to. Like, man, I really want to be, Josh is doing great. I really want to be like him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, just be freaking happy with what you got.
100%. I mean, it's just perspective. Like, yeah, your problems are yours. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, work through them. But I think it's important to have perspective of others' lives and the things they've been through too. Yeah, just because it makes you navigate it better, right? Like, you can still go through your stuff, and it's not expected to be like, okay, I'm over it because that person's going through this. But it can, if it's in the back of your mind, you'll navigate through it a lot better. You know what I'm saying?
I also take in perspective of people only know what they know.
That too. Yeah, perfect. In America, we're conditioned to
what we know.
For what we know.
Yeah.
So you can't knock them for that at the same time.
No, I don't knock them. No, but I've seen it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and it's like,
it can be frustrating.
These people live awful lives.
Yeah.
You know, and thank God I pray for them, but thank God I live how I live.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, so you don't take it for granted, man. It's all that gratitude.
Yeah.
I love it. So, damn, that's a great thing to dive into. Now, speaking of being overseas, why did you decide to go in the Marines, man? What was that shift?
I needed my ass kicked because, as I said, I was raised in Brentwood. So I thought mommy and daddy were going to take care of me forever. I didn't know how to be to be successful by myself or take the reins of life and go at it. You know, of course they tried their best, but you know, I didn't know. Like I didn't take school serious. I wasn't interested in it. I got by with a 9 or the 1.9 in high school. Barely graduated.
You sound like me.
I just didn't care about it. You know, I cared about girls and my friends
and football.
Yeah, that's what I cared about. I showed up to a football game because I wasn't going to play. I was a sophomore, junior, and I wasn't going to play. I showed up drunk with a friend of mine, and he was trying to take care of me. He was like, "Dude, just sit back,
Shut
on the
mouth.
line, shut up." I'm like, okay. So yeah, I was a social person. I still am, but I was a lot more than. I loved speaking to people. People call me a social butterfly. I like to just go off and talk to friends because I love people so much.
Same.
And I love to socialize, connections.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's helped me a lot in my future as a roofer. I know a lot of people now from whether it's high school, Marine Corps, Army, the bars, from working the bars, or anything, school.
Yeah.
And I've got to know a lot of people, and it's helped me be successful.
Like going to someone, about their roof comes off as more of a conversation than like you're just trying to sell them something. Is that right?
Yes, I in no way, because I see these videos of other roofers that they do these hard pitch sales to people door to door, and they don't care about no's. And you're going to be successful if you're respectful. If this person doesn't need a roof, doesn't want to talk to you, move on.
Yeah.
Dude, don't make it awkward.
Someone's going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to have a connection with every customer to the point where they love me to death, that they share my name around.
100%.
Not that they did my roof,
Yeah, dude. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And I'm going to be fine. God's taking care of me. I don't care to be super, super rich, and I don't care to have a giant company. I would love to have maybe 6 successful sales guys on my team and go from there. And that's it. And I would be fine, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Yeah. It's not like an, overabundance mindset with it. No. You just enjoy it and you want to do well.
Me thinking about running a company that's as big as Bluebird.
Bluebird's big.
They are massive.
Yeah.
And I don't want anything like that.
Yeah, it's huge.
That means that's awesome. Bro, I see their vehicles everywhere. I'm like, man, how many F-250s do they got? They got
I believe they're in Mount Juliet, right?
Yeah, they got like 50 F-250s.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Damn.
And they like update them every year. It seems like
they're brand new.
Yeah, they're like they got some kind of contract. So, dude, in your childhood reminds me a lot of mine. I was very blessed. My parents are amazing. I had a rough younger childhood, just moving a lot, being new. Like there was some stuff that came along with that. But I went to high school. I was just, I blew up. I was a stud, football.
Yeah.
But I was focused on girls and sports, girls football, and like my grades barely made it.
Yeah.
And I needed direction. And, I went to a college, totally just trashed it. You know what I'm saying? Just such a waste. And that's when I got addicted to pills. It was around that time frame. And same. I needed that direction. I needed to like man the hell up and stop taking things for granted. And, went to a recruiter. So same as you. Back into it, getting in the Marines, man. So that, first of all, the choice of the Marines, obviously, I mean, I'm just going to assume maybe that you were like, that's going to be the one that kicks my ass the most. I need to go there.
It was more the fact that he was the first one I saw, because yes, I do like to be different. My whole character is I like to be different from others.
Yeah.
It's been like that with my vehicles or my choices. But yes, the Marine Corps is the smallest branch, and so I wanted to be different. 9/11 just happened. We're in high school watching the planes hit the buildings. I remember I was in a computer rebuild class, some bull crap class. Anyway, I was in there, and I could see it on the TVs. So my sister's up in New York living there. So I call her. She's good. It's not like an atom bomb hit, but it did for all of us.
Yeah.
You know, and it was such a, like everyone will tell you 9/11 is the worst day. 9/12 was the best because everyone came together. Didn't care about politics. We all were together.
Yeah.
And so, I went to the cafeteria, met him. So we started the process. Now I tore my ACL in football, so I had to get that fixed before I joined. I had to get a screw put in, wait for it to heal, take the screw out, and then I could go to boot camp. And boot camp started for me after the first semester of college, and I went to Western Kentucky. To get into college, I had to go to community college because my grades sucked so bad.
Yeah.
And I got a 4.0 because I wanted to get in, got in, went to boot camp. And so I was in the Marine Corps Reserves here in Nashville, Tennessee with Justin Allender and a bunch of other friends of mine.
Okay.
And it's a infantry unit. It's a line unit, meaning they have 3 infantry platoons and 1 weapon platoon. And I was in weapons and mortars. And so it's so funny because my dad and I, when we were we were signing the papers, he was there with me. And he was like, I want my son to go to college. Is he going to go to college? Yes, he is going to go to college, sir. So he's not going to go send off to war? No, he's just going to go to college, sir. Okay, cool. Went straight to Iraq immediately. I'd probably trained with my company for 2 months, and then I went straight to SOI in California, which is School of Infantry, and then straight to Iraq.
You're like, hey, Dad, I got something to tell you.
No, buddy. So, no one necessarily wants to be sent out to war, but you never regret it.
It's kind of like, you don't want to go a whole military career without getting deployed. Like, I was at a training base, so I had to volunteer. I was like pestering my master sergeant, my flight chief, like, get me overseas. Yep. And he made it happen because I didn't want to go through my enlistment without it. Yep. It's just like something you feel like
it's part of it.
Yeah. Like you're like, okay, well, it's fulfilling, I guess you could say.
It is. It's, and because you'll find guys that never got deployed, which is not their fault.
Yeah.
It's up to the company. It's up to the battalion if you're getting deployed or not.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some guys didn't get that opportunity and it sucks for them and they don't want to talk about it. They feel like they weren't good enough, but they are.
Yeah. But I could see where that would play a part.
Yeah, it messes with their brain,
yeah.
But I don't ever hate on anybody for that's not their fault.
No.
And I'm not that kind of guy, but so we got deployed in 2004 to Fallujah, Iraq. And when I got there, man, I'm 20 years old and you're thinking crazy stuff because you've never been to war and you're like, what's going to happen here? And this is the beginning of if no one knows, but Fallujah was one of the main cities that was going crazy at the time. And it was some Army battalions and a lot of Marine battalions going into the city door to door, trying to get all these, flush out the city of bad guys and insurgents. And anyways, there's a Camp Fallujah right outside. It's an old base from one of Saddam's sons.
Yeah.
And we took it over. We made it into one of our bases and we utilized that for extraction for quick reaction force. We'd go through the cities or the villages outside. We protected the base. We had different roles every week.
Yeah.
And that's what we did for that deployment. Not that bad. We weren't going door to door inside the city of Fallujah. And honestly, a lot of those guys didn't come home. Yeah. It was pretty tragic.
Yeah, I've heard Fallujah for some people is pretty intense. I mean, I'd say it sounds like it was still overall a pretty intense experience for you.
It wasn't. It was, but the mindset wasn't no big deal. Because you're there for a purpose. And trust me, Marines are from the beginning, we're taught our history and made to love ourselves. We're made to think when we're the most badass warriors in the world. No one can F with us, and we come out of that to where we're training to shoot and kill nonstop, but we're not allowed to until we're told to. And when we do, we blow the shit out of whatever building there is. You're going to let me shoot this? Okay. And we overshoot it. We overkill it.
you're programmed to be that way.
Yeah, from the get-go.
Yeah, but that's harder later in life.
It is, because especially for young Marines, when they go out in town and they want to get into a fist fight with somebody else, they get their ass kicked.
Trust me, we should have Marines come like, temporary deployment in Panama. I was stationed in Panama City, right? And so I was at Tyndall Air Force Base. And of course, we'd be at the bars, and I had a couple of run-ins with Marines.
Yeah, because they got big heads.
Air Force.
Yeah, they're dickheads.
And of course, like, I'm down to roll too.
Yeah, bro, we're gonna whoop your ass, dog. Yeah.
So it was just always something. But yeah, I remember the young guys. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was a damn fool too. So I'm not blaming anybody, but
no, it was the young Marines would get themselves in trouble a lot. So NCOs would have to calm them down, get them out of bad situations.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say, was that your only deployment?
No. So there's 04.
Okay, because I know that was Justin.
Yeah.
That was his first and last.
Mm-hmm.
He came home, did the family thing.
Yep.
So you went back then.
Yeah. So like I said, I got stop lost in 2009, which means basically I was getting out in May 19th, and we got deployed May 1st. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Nah, you're going." So we went. There was another deployment that we attached ourselves to another regiment in 2007.
Yeah.
But that was volunteer. And I had just gotten back from the 04 deployment. And it's 2005 or 5, yeah. And they were like, "Who wants to go back?" And I was like, "Fuck no, dude. I don't want to go back." You know?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, dude. Like I want to go through college right now. And then 2009 came, and we were sent over again. Now, like I said, we were training. They trained us for like World War III. The training was intense. It was really good, really good training. But we got sent over there, and we're the last infantry battalion in Iraq. And I got set out on a MET team because my lieutenant was a good friend of mine. He's like, "Joe, I really want you to go do something different because we ain't going to do anything on this deployment."
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Joe, I want you to go out with like 4 other guys. I'm going to send you down south towards the Kuwait border and that harbor down there."
Mm-hmm.
And we trained with Royal Marines, Royal Navy, Coast Guard. We trained Iraqis for martial arts, how to become a Marine, which was such a shit show, but we did our best we could. And we also did security runs to Camp Buka, and nothing crazy, honestly. We did a lot of training.
Yeah.
So some of the cool things is that we got in the harbor and we boarded some boats, some big, large ships coming in, cargo ships, and we'd run up the side of the boat, get on top, and we would get up there with the Coast Guard and do security checks throughout the entire ship.
That's pretty cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
We would go out and do some fun stuff like that. There's a lot of sunken ships out there. I think Saddam sunk a ton of ships out there, so we couldn't get in. So you see these giant ships that are kind of like poking their nose up out of the water.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool. We boarded some of those and looked around, which is super unsafe.
But like, how can you not?
Yeah, we really wanted to.
Yeah.
It was actually cool.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool as hell. I mean, it sounds like overall like a pretty powerful experience. I have heard like training other countries too can be different. My buddy, he's a SWIC guy, and they were training some guys from Taiwan, and he said it's just a shit show. But I think, not to knock them, like they're not capable, but also like a big part of our country is like creating war fighters, like our military's everywhere.
There's a language barrier that hinders it.
That too.
We had our interpreters, but it only goes so far. But a lot of them were very motivated, but a lot of them weren't.
Yeah.
I told you that guy blew his brains out. He did not want to come back.
Yeah, that's insane.
He was like, "No, I'm done," which was a crazy way to go.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a fun experience, and I would never take a second back. So,
what do you think the most difficult part of your service time was? And before you answer that, were you married at the time, or did you get married while you were in? Were you in a relationship during all this?
Yes, through the 2009 deployment I was. That's when I met my wife before I left. I actually proposed to her. We were dating for about a year and a half, and I proposed to her. And we were amazing together. Great couple. Nothing bad to say about it all. We were wild. We bartended together. If anyone remembers, there's this bar called Fuse Nightclub at Opryland Hotel. They tried the whole Vegas thing there. Very expensive drinks. About 100 different vodkas. You had to learn how they're made and where they're from and all this stuff. And specialty drinks. You know, some of them had like cotton candy on top. Anyway, we met there. We worked together. She got out of another relationship, and we just went from there. It was a really good relationship. It's just that we destroyed each other.
Just the lifestyle
we had. When I came back from service, we were a bit wild. We loved sex, parties, and we had a beautiful daughter together before all that craziness happened. And my daughter Lily, she's 12. She's amazing.
Nice.
I don't deserve her. She's amazing.
Little girls, man. Having a daughter.
My gosh.
Trust me, I feel you.
Yeah.
It's the best.
The
Anyways,
best.
we'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just destroyed each other at the end. It was we cheated on each other. We hurt each other. We were obsessed with the lifestyle of being out at parties, swinger stuff. Yeah, it was a lot. At the time, you don't think you're doing anything wrong. You think it's fine. You're making excuses in your head that this is fine. And I hate seeing it. People that still do it, that they make that their thing. They're like, oh, this is fine. We're doing it responsibly. We both love to do it. It makes us stronger. These are devil attacks.
They're gateways.
Yes,
dude, gateways.
You know,
just like everything. As innocent as porn, people think porn is.
Yeah.
It's a gateway, dude.
Porn is so awful.
Yes,
it's something that you tell yourself is fine, and you're just like, dude, I'm just wanting to pleasure myself real quick, and then I'm going. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to like marry this woman. No, dude, it leads to more things, and you don't realize it.
Yes.
It's such a trick in the dark.
These things like possess you, man.
Yeah.
And anybody, to each their own. I'm not here to attack anybody. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of lifestyle, but like, I think it's just things can be good, sure, but I don't know. Some close people I know that have been maybe gone through that, it's always ended in destruction.
Let me tell you, one of the hardest things that you'll try to get released, of course, any really strong drug, when you're in a lifestyle for 9 years, and you both are sharing other people, you're not monogamous, you're in a swinging relationship, and it's normalized. You want more and more of it. It is insanely hard to get out.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going from porn status of whatever pleasure you want to monogamous?
Yeah. Now you can do that with anybody. Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
And then just to like, just each
one
other.
Person, just one.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not going to be crazy all the time, Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it took me a while, even with my new wife, like it took a while for me to get out of that head game. Her and I both, my wife is like such a blessing. We both helped each other fix each other, and through different things but
that's how it should be.
I want to tell you what really got me on the right path was God himself. He said, and I don't understand it, why he gave me a chance, because if I had died in my previous years of life, I would have gone straight to hell. I was living for flesh. I was living for pleasure.
Dude, that's powerful.
And he gave me an opportunity to change it around because I felt like he knew I would.
Yeah.
And he was like, I went through so much pain with this divorce because the attachment you have with your partner.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill myself. I had a gun to myself plenty of times in the front yard drunk. I just had it in my face. But the only thing that stopped me from shooting myself was my children, and I love my children.
Yeah.
They need me, and I did not want to be a bloody mess in the front yard.
Yeah.
God,
imagine the toll that would take.
Yeah, especially all my neighbors opening their
It's not all about you,
I'm gonna go get the paper, and nope, there's Joe.
God almighty, dude.
But it was hard. It was a hard couple of years, and my ex-wife and I have become good friends.
Is this during military still or post-military?
Oh, this is during the military.
Okay.
Yeah. I just got out 3 years ago. So
shoot.
This is 2017 when we finally got divorced.
Oh, you're good to retirement ages like 39, 40s. Yeah. It makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we got our divorce in 2017, and then we still went through some crazy stuff together. But then we finally cleaned up our act and we got a lot better. And we're good friends. And that's something that a lot of people wish they had with their ex.
Yeah.
We have a great relationship. And I share 50-50 with her. And we don't ask for a dime. At least I don't. I don't ask for a dime at all.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's important that she's doing great. She's working her full-time job as a nurse, and she's seeing someone, and I'm happily married, and we've gone our ways. And yeah, we share a beautiful daughter together.
What a powerful testimony. I think it is, because that lifestyle, man, those things will destroy you. And I think, everybody gets that opportunity to exit in the way they need. There's always the option. Like it comes up when you least expect it, though. It's like subtle, right? Mm-hmm. And but you chose to take it. And then some people are just like, nah, maybe I'll just keep moving forward, and it's like, damn.
No, I would have kept going and been weak if there wasn't something there telling me, like, so I tried to continue doing it with my wife, and she was just not about it.
Yeah.
She was like, no. And things would never link up to where it would be successful. And she was just like, absolutely not. And, I started going to Bible class or study with my friends on Wednesdays, and I've always been a Christian, but you weren't a real one, like you weren't fully engaged with loving Jesus. And, I'd show up to church and I'd do the thing, but then I would go right back to my lifestyle and doing all the sinning I want, and say, oh, and God can judge me. And you know what I'm saying? Like, my relationship with God is fine. He's fine with it. Like, dude, he's not okay with it.
More so you were speaking about it rather than the action behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And God, I can't tell you how real Jesus is, man. He is so real. And I know that there's people out there fighting with this. Like, well, I don't have the confirmation. I need something. And if you just talk to him and ask him to reveal himself to you, I promise you, this works.
Yeah.
He will, because he wants you. He wants you to love him and know and to speak to him and have a relationship with him. And if you some people are so prideful, they won't do it. Like, they're like, nah, that's stupid and silly.
Yeah.
Just try it. What do you got to lose?
Just open your heart
once.
Just open your heart for it, man.
Yeah.
I think it's like guiding it in. I mean, I don't knock that at all. I think that's a beautiful thing. My spiritual beliefs are a little different.
Sure.
But I love that though, because I love to see that fire. Like, I can tell it's genuine. You're not just talking about it, because I grew up in church my whole life, and unfortunately, a lot of people just talk about what they are. But it's like, I think nothing you do in your life displays that. I mean, your actions don't promote it.
Right. They're lukewarm Christians. And that can be very dangerous. You're saying one thing and pretending to be one thing, and you have Psalms 13:32 in your bio, but you don't live that life whatsoever.
Yeah. To me, it's like, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
At the end of the day, I was saved by something, and God really gave me another chance.
Yeah.
And I don't think the way I was living was, he said, Joe, I'm going to take this wife from you because you guys are just not going around the path that I want you to.
100%.
Because we were living 100% in sin, just getting addicted to another high of some sort.
Like, what would have been the next thing?
We weren't bad. We were great parents and a great family and stuff, but her and I individually were living, that's not a good life.
It drains your soul.
And eventually the kids would see it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that would be devastating.
And you don't want to teach them that.
Absolutely.
Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, you're doing it and you're okay with it, but you're like, do I want my kids doing these things in their future? That's no.
Yeah, but it ruined my life at the time, but now my life is so much better.
You learn from it.
So much, yeah.
Yeah, man. That's powerful. And the last thing on that too, there's a lot of people that do it we know of. Mm-hmm. And it's just, Lydia and I, we're very traditional in our ways.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't like people, but we don't want to be around people that do that. We just don't want to be associated with it. It's like an energetic thing, right? So I'm not going to treat you like crap, or I'll be nice, but like, I don't want to put my time towards.
Well, that's self-respect towards both parties.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I love you. You can do whatever you want to do. Like, that's how I treat
It's a value thing.
my gay friends. Like, dude, do what you want to do, bro. I love you as a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And do what you want. It's just, I don't want my family with it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
And there's
that's
nothing wrong
my
with that.
family, and I have every right to say that.
You're not going out bashing people.
No, not at all.
It's
I'm not
for
going to
you.
bash you.
Yeah.
You have, you know, you can do whatever you want to do.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
I love that, dude. Well, you know, going from that, and yeah, I didn't know, man. And that's a crazy part of your story. But thanks for opening up about that and sharing that. It's very vulnerable, but it's also very honest. And like your path there and your connection with Christ that spoke to you and now has set you on the trajectory you're on. And of course, I'm sure after that you said there were some tests with it all. But I mean, and now you seem like you're on like a really solid direction.
Yeah, you know, of course, we all will have our ups and downs still. I'll still get tested on certain different things, but life is so good, and I'm very, very blessed to be where I'm at.
Hell yeah, man. So now I got to ask, this would probably be a good time to go into, well, I do want to ask this real quick. Last thing on your service, what do you think was like the hardest part of your service? You know, like the most difficult part of it?
I think I can testify to everyone else will agree with me. Like, we don't necessarily miss it, but we miss the camaraderie. We love the guys that you hung out with, that you trained and you sweat, bled with. The camaraderie is very important to some of the guys on your team. Some can do without it. Some guys can go on with life and be fine, but some of them just get lonely and depressed, and it's very important as you know, the ones that can make it, to reach out to them and stay close to them, because they're there, and you can see it on Facebook, you can see it on other platforms.
They need that.
Yeah, man, they're not good.
Well, Justin and I talked about it. If you probably watched the episode, but like the brotherhood just being essential to just genetically. I find it, you know, men have been tribal since the beginning of time. You know, and so I think it's essential to have like some form of brotherhood, you know, maybe not after the military, maybe it's spiritual, right? Or something like that. But, you know, people lose that, and it's like, yeah, but they had that purpose with it too. You know, there's so much more tied in. So that makes plenty of sense, man. So what was it like transitioning out of the military? What was that experience?
Easy, because I did, 13 years active duty, and the rest was reserves.
So you're already kind of like,
I'm already used to it.
Yeah,
that's fine. It was, some guys really fail at it. I had a really good friend of mine, Sean Roach. He was our CEO in the reserves and the Marines. And then he went off because he was active duty. So he went off to other things and became lieutenant colonel. We still stayed in touch. Good friend of mine came home after 30 years retirement.
Yeah.
And he did not cope. Yeah. Like, he failed. Damn. And he died. And I remember having to help lift his body in a body bag into the ambulance. It was just not good, man. He didn't do well.
Yeah. So some people it's easier.
Brother, it's a whole, you're living in this bubble world of the military where things are scheduled for you. You have duties constantly. You have a time schedule. And when you let go of that and you just don't, and you come back to the civilian life and it's just up to you to do whatever, man, they just don't do well. They're not.
Yeah.
You know,
it's all structured. And in some ways, yeah, I'm not saying, okay, you probably would be able to understand this. In some ways it's easier, if that makes sense. Like because you show up and you do your job.
Easier. It is easier.
The taxes are pretty much squared away. You got your medical care. You don't got to worry about all the shit you do on the outside. You already have a connection with everybody around you because of y'all are in the Marines. You know what I'm saying? But then you come out and like, no, not everybody's a Marine out there. And you got to like do paperwork and taxes and get health care and all the shit. And you're like, whoa, this is a lot.
Deployment's easy. And I know that's weird to say. You have nothing to worry about except for the boys with you, with the guys with you. That's all you have to worry about. Your job, your mission, and the ones around you. You don't have to worry about traffic, taxes, bills, all that bullshit. You come home to a lot of money in your bank account.
Yep.
I can't speak for everyone, but that's basically in a nutshell, a ton of us. It was easy to cope with, although of course there's you could fucking die
Yeah.
and your friends will die, but life in general is easier out there.
Yeah, it's just my friend Seth Griffith, he was a TAC P guy. He said it's the mission in the men. Simple as that,
As simple as that.
Real quick, just brush over this. You kind of talked about what got you into running your own business. I guess you talked what got you into roofing, but what was the decision about, like, what influenced you to start your own?
I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I even studied it in college. I've always wanted to open my own business because I wanted to do my own thing. I got tired of working for people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really was making me depressed about being in the military. I was expecting it. I get a paycheck twice a month. I'm never going to make any more than that.
Yeah.
You know, I can't expand my talents on connecting with people and making more money. I would just show up for work and get a paycheck. And I never saved that way. I'm always going to get another paycheck. Why do I need to save? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never did really well with that. Now that I'm gone out earning my money, I save very well.
Yeah.
And I put it away, put it something else, put it into an investment. And I actually invest back into my company nonstop. Whether that be protection on homes, onto my employees, vehicles.
Just trying to level the business up.
Yes, I need to just grow a little bit before I can spend money on myself.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, I worked for Matt for about a year and a half, and I gave him about 4 months heads up. I was like, brother, look, I really want to go on my own. I think I'm ready. There's some other people doubting me, of course, but that's just that part of the game. And I said, he gave me some great offers, which was very respectfully, I almost took one of them because it's just like, yeah, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, he offered me nearly 80% profit, which is unheard of. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. But it was not about that. It was about me doing it for myself because I would regret it if I never tried. And I have gone full balls to the walls with it. And I think he's really proud of me. He told me a couple times, he's very happy that I'm kicking ass out there.
Yeah.
And so that means a lot,
For sure, man. It's not like he's like, man, screw his business. There's plenty of roofs, right? You're not going to get them all.
Bro, there's so many
support
roofs.
each other.
I support the guys downstairs, your friends.
Yeah.
All of them. I hope they all kick ass.
For sure.
There's more roofs than enough for all of us. We're fine.
Yeah.
Now, what does get to me sometimes is I'll go into a neighborhood and one roofing company hit every single house and they're all theirs. I'm like, damn it, dude. Damn it.
Oh, turn around.
And then I turn around, I go to another neighborhood and they hit all those. I'm like, motherfucker, come on, dude. Can I have one?
That's funny as hell. Hey, man, yeah, that's part of it too, though. At the end of the day, you're all still competing.
Yeah, we are.
So you got to hit the neighborhood first, you got to be that guy. So, but it's, I think just understanding that you support each other, but you're also like, you're trying to make your business grow. And
they're making, the good roofing companies are giving us a good name. And I support that. There are bad roofing companies out there that come from other states that will do a crappy job, pretend to give you a warranty, bounce, and they're called storm chasers.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, it's bad. It's gotten out of hand in some cases. And we have to heal our reputation. In fact, the BBB won't even let me join them for 8 months until I've proven myself to be a good roofer. And now even insurance, it took me a while to find insurance.
Because of those guys.
Because of those guys. They don't want to insure roofers.
God, man. Yeah. There's always someone coming in, screwing up a good thing.
Screwing it up.
It's kind of like, translates to training, personal training, right? In a way, like I don't have a client with the intent of them forever working with me.
Yeah.
Kind of like with you and Matt, right? Like I want them to go out and start training themselves and like take it upon their life, like level up. And you want to level up and do your own thing. And, but also in the world of working with people, a lot of trainers give it a bad name.
Yeah, they do.
I know a lot of them, and I've seen it over the years, and it's just like, man, y'all make it so difficult to get people and retain them because they kind of maybe they want a cookie cut thing, so they just don't really, they're just worried about volume rather than like helping the individual out.
They get that certificate as a personal trainer. They think they're awesome, and they utilize that, and they just fail everybody.
Yep. Yeah, they may know what they're doing to a degree, but it always comes down to that connection, that human connection, like you said, like building the relationship with the customer. Same thing with a client, like, you know, that there's a lot more to it than just putting out some plans.
Isn't that such a euphoric feeling to build a relationship with someone and they love it just as much as you do, and they're giving back all, like, especially for a personal trainer.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is to have a customer or a client that is just there and they just want to talk to you. They don't really want to make gains. They don't really want to, they just want someone to talk to, and they're just kind of working out, and you're like, this isn't me.
Yeah.
I really want you to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had those when I was a personal trainer. I worked at a gym out in Bellevue, and I had a lot of old clients, and they just want someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And I was just hating life. I was like, this is
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. You want them to want to improve. If you can have a good relationship with them and they actually push to improve, like, that's the best. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's tough out there.
Yeah.
You don't know everybody's goals, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
hell yeah, man. In bodybuilding, real quick,
Yeah.
you know, because that's not a huge part of your life, but, you know, people are going to see you on camera and be like, that's a pretty jacked dude. So it's obviously been impactful for you to a degree.
It has 100. And I believe that my father left that with me. He had me going to the gym with him since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I grew, getting better and better eventually, with my nutrition, and working out every day. I work out every single day, other than, I guess I work out 5 to 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and especially now with growing this business, I've had to miss some days because I just work 12, 13 hours. I'm like, dude, I got to go home. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'll try to do something at home. Now, I think, like all young men, they all want to be as big as possible. And I think they want to be able to lift as much as possible. And I teach them, if I ever run into them, to give them advice to not do that.
Yeah.
You know, take care of your body at a young age, and you'll have it forever. You know,
Tough lesson.
Yeah. I think you and I both did that, hurt our bodies. I tried to bench. I was benching 385 in high school.
Yeah.
And I tore my sternum. You know, and you're in the 1,500 pound club where you can do, you know what I mean? Those clubs.
Yeah.
And they're at an early age, they're pressing that against us to lift as much as possible, which is not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. No, I want to be strong, but to a degree. Like, I'm not trying to max out certain things now. It's shifted. But also, when you're in that mindset of pushing, you're also doing reckless shit.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being in the military and I'm drinking all the time. I'm also ordering, like, whatever new pro hormone is legal for this period of time, and taking, like, instead of doing 8 weeks like it says, let's push it to 12 weeks.
The mindset is like, I'm better than you because I can press 10 more pounds.
But you're not.
You're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can kick anyone's ass now because I can bench this much. Like, bro, you're going to get your ass kicked being that heavy.
Yeah, that's the thing,
you're
too.
Slow and heavy.
Yeah. You're just going to maybe flex on somebody.
Yeah. Okay. Great muscles. Anyway, smack, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. It never made sense to me. I think the body type, and I can't speak for everyone because everyone has their thing, and that's great.
Yeah.
You know, there's bodybuilders that need to be at a certain position to win competition.
Yeah.
And you have to be really big and then really cut. And it takes a lot of math, calculation on nutrition and that stuff. I tried doing that once and I did a great job. I got, I think, second place in all my, fields of that competition. I think I did, I won in Murfreesboro, and yeah, it was a great learning experience. I learned how to eat, better, and what to eat, and how there's a science behind it.
Yeah.
Now I bring that on to everyday life too. I bring my meals with me and I eat them throughout the day because eating out is expensive and it's not really great for you.
Yeah.
So I bring my meals, I cook, I meal prep, and I do that. So, but I'm not trying to get any bigger.
For sure. Yeah. You're in a different season. Now you don't see and there's no need to, I guess, you know, I mean, but everybody's got their thing, not knocking it. If you just want to be the largest person in the world, like, go for it.
Go. Yeah.
At least be humble. Don't be a dick to people. Just don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everybody's got their flavor, but we seem to be in the same mindset about it. You know, like we just want to be healthy, optimal,
I want to be able to pack. I want to get my backpack and be able to run 2 miles if I need to. I want to be able to be flexible. Right now my knees hurt from past, weightlifting or military or football. And I really need to heal so I can actually play soccer or baseball with my son. I don't need to be gigantic.
Yeah. And I think that, would you say that probably the most, I'd say aspects of that too, and your military career have carried over into now being an entrepreneur. What would you say would be with that? I mean,
I think
there's a lot of value there.
I think the way that you pertain yourself, or what's the word?
Present
yourself.
Yeah.
I guess.
How you carry yourself or whatever.
Yeah, with your body, on how it looks. People feel like you're a certain type of person where you actually are responsible. You work hard. You take extra efforts into your physical appearance.
Yeah,
and I think that's good.
Yeah.
When not that doesn't. I'm not saying that for everybody, and please don't. I know there's people out there that are completely out of shape, but they're extremely smart and they do great at life. But I'm just saying that when you actually put out extra effort in your body, it helps you mentally be more successful in other parts of your life, such as being there for your children and being able to be active more, stuff like that.
Well, and it helps you be there for, if you're going to do a service for somebody, right? Like give them a roof or train them. You got to think of what's going through their head. Like they take care of themselves. So yeah, they'll take care of me too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just that that's not to knock anybody, but I think most people are going to before you speak to them, they're going to judge
who you are and how you look. That's how it is in dating.
Yeah.
You're looking at someone. Okay. You're getting a good read from this person on how they look. And so I do take care of myself. I think it's very important in my food, my nutrition, and how I work out. And I work out basically to be healthy and to look good naked. And that's basically it.
Hell yeah, man. I love that. I do want to dive into something that is very important. Childhood, man. Or not childhood, but fatherhood.
Fatherhood. Sure.
Yeah. Tell me about that experience for you, man.
Gosh, it's the only thing that I'm alive. It kept me alive back in the day from the worst parts of my life to understanding. I love my children. They're everything to me.
Yeah.
I love how much they love me and how much they want to be wrapped around me, watching a movie. They want me. My son wants my attention all the time. That's when you know you're being a good dad, when you're playing with them and they just they're obsessed with you.
Yeah.
And I think fatherhood, gosh, I just don't think we'd be very good if we weren't good fathers. Life is all about, I think, about your children.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You become obsessed. I know, look at my daughter, man. I'm just I want to protect her from every ounce of
everything.
pain.
Yeah.
Obviously that would do her no justice, because if I did that, I wrote about this, I wrote a piece called Life Through Her Eyes. But if I spent my life just protecting her from all harm, well, then she's going to be pretty unprepared if I die or when I do, and I want her to be strong enough to take on the world of her own. So it's finding that balance between hovering in space, or protection, and also allowing her to learn. Does that make sense?
Yes, you have to have them learn.
They got to go through their own experiences and go through adversity to grow, but it's you don't want to do it at the same time.
You don't want to. You want to do it for them.
You're like, no, I will take all the pain.
Yeah,
I can do it.
I want to do everything for my daughter, but that's hindering her for the future. I would clean up after her. I make her food, all this stuff. But I'm like, man, she's going to be awful when she goes to college. She's not going to know what to do.
Facts.
So I have her mow the lawn. I have her take care of the chickens. I have her take care of her puppy. I make her bring down her dirty clothes. I start gradually making her do more chores. People start this at an early age, and man, they're awesome. Great parents. You're doing awesome. Keep have them learn. I started late because I was so obsessed with fathering my little daughter and she's my princess. And, and I'm doing better with my son. Well, he's only 4, but and we would make him pick up after himself and everything like that. So we'll gradually get better with that.
Yeah. Would you say there's a difference? You had your daughter first?
100%.
So would you say there's tell me about the difference between just being
I'm more upfront with my son. I feel like I want him to be stronger mentally. He has to. Men have to. Yes. And I will train him differently than my daughter. Hopefully I'm not doing a disservice to my daughter. I am working on being better at making her do more. But my son, I'm straight up more with him, and I have a very good bond with him. I love him. He loves me to death. Yeah. But he needs to grow up a little faster than my little daughter did. Yeah, it's different.
I mean, I love being a girl dad, but I think about it, and I'm like, especially this stage of my life, like my daughter softens me, and I've had some trials over the past few years. So she just, if I had a boy, like I'm going to love him just as much, but I'm just going to be
different love.
Different. My daughter just kind of lowers me down. They just level you out in a very powerful but positive way.
God, it's so powerful. Like my daughter she's so kind and gentle.
Yeah.
She'll just say, "Daddy, are you okay?" If I'm really stressed out, I'm like, "Yes, I'm fine. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And my son, he's just 1,000,000 miles per hour. It's so funny. He'll go crazy, like run back and forth, jump, and do all this stuff, and then pass out. Go right to bed. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jesus. What happened?
Yeah, I love that.
Oh man,
it's so much fun.
We went to Universal last spring break, just a couple months ago. It was the best family vacation I could ask for. The kids got along. We had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
My wife helps so much with him. She's obsessed with him because that's her first child, and she got everything she wanted, a son and everything.
Yeah.
And she's such a great helper. But we went to all the parks, and we did this in 3 days. We knocked out all the parks in 3 days, and it was so cool because the kids got along so well. My daughter helped so much with him. And I would do it again and again and again. And I know that a lot of people have stressful families where kids don't get along at all, but mine love each other. And I'm so blessed with that.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. I mean, you had your son a little later in life as well.
Yes, so she helps a lot because she's grown.
Yeah, so you're in a different stage too. Yeah. I think you just look at it different. I had my first one at 32, 33.
Okay.
So my sister had her first at 18. So she's trying to find who she is in the midst of that. Like I'm 33. I know who Joe is.
Yeah.
So it's just different stages. There's nothing wrong with having them sooner, but you got to go through different kind of battles.
I think there's something to be said with that. I had a stepdaughter when in my first marriage, Bailey. I raised her since she was in diapers until she was 10. And of course I lost her because of the divorce. She wasn't mine. She went to the dad. Dad did a good job of raising her. She's fine. Okay. She's gorgeous. Goodness, red hair. I still talk to her. She's beautiful.
That's awesome.
She's going to college. She just graduated from high school. But anyway, yeah, you're correct. My daughter's 12, my son's 4, so she helps out a lot. So if I had 2 kids that were nearly the same age, I could imagine that they would be chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, my sister and I we fought our whole childhood.
I hated my brother when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We threw knives at each other. We hated each other.
I'm pretty sure I would hold the pillow over her face until
sure.
She was.
Oh, you okay? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Let me stuff
your life still okay. Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'll tell you.
Yeah.
But she deserved it. No,
yeah. She's fine.
But that's just sibling love. It can be intense.
My sister would cause fights because she loved watching it. She was older. She was 3.5 years older. She would cause fights between me and my brother.
And she'd just sit there just like eating some whatever. She's like, they're destroying each other. She's like the mastermind, just clicking her fingers.
She loved it.
That's funny as hell, man. Yeah, that's cool though. I appreciate your outlook on that, and I think it's very valuable to share that. Because maybe they'll watch this one day and they'll be able to hear you telling this stranger about just how much you freaking love them.
Yeah.
That's a powerful thing. And what would you say would be the most important thing you pass on to them, like legacy-wise, as far as character or whatever it is? Like, what do you want them to take most from you and into life?
Gosh.
It's a tough question. That's off of my top of my head.
That's tough. I don't know. I just want them to know my character and my kindness and the love and passion I had for them, to make sure that they were raised in a good, loving family, and that my mistakes in life, I would make sure that I made up for them, that it didn't cause them harm.
That you've relinquished your karma. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want my past mistakes, because it did affect her. She was 4 when I got divorced and we moved on and she had 2 families.
Yeah.
But she was a rock star the whole time.
Yeah.
She was fine. And I made sure that she was happy the whole entire time, that was not neglected whatsoever. And she got all the love that she could possibly have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Well, from my perspective, I think you're an amazing father. So definitely be proud of yourself for that.
Thanks. Appreciate it,
dude.
Thanks,
because I think that's the biggest thing is just
best title you can have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It truly is. And like, for anybody out there, man, I don't know. That's just if you have kids, just love the hell out of them.
Love them
more than anything. And I think that's one of the best things you could pass on too, man. If they feel that, then that'll do a lot of good for the rest of their life. So
that's what it's about, kids.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. And your wife's your best friend too, right?
Yeah.
If you got that, then you're
she's
squared away.
She's all right. She's fine.
Yeah. She's straight. She gave me a good kid. So, but I think that, that's just very important. There's a very important dynamic. And, I think about this all the time. If my business and like a lot of things around me were just to burn down tomorrow, I could look at my wife and daughter and see like, dude, I'm good. Like I'm successful, right? Mm-hmm. Like that. If you can recognize that as like the most success you've reached, then you're going to be all right.
I think real quick, there was a time, and I'll always remember it. I was mowing the lawn and my kids and my wife were playing in the yard and they're having a blast. They're all smiling and laughing. And that's when like you made it. You're just like, man, this is it. I made it. I'm fine. I don't care what debt I got. I don't care how work is going. I'm happy that I have this.
Dude, it's like this scene that makes me think of a scene from like an end of a movie where the guy's just sitting there on his porch and they're just like, the sprinklers are going off in slow motion. They're just like, ah.
That's kind of what's happening.
But yeah.
I was just pushing a mower and I was like, man, what a blessing.
Just taking it in.
Yeah, I have everything.
Dude, I love that, man. Well, my last question for you, and we'll get you out of here. Yeah. This is a question I ask everyone. Joe, what is your relentless pursuit?
You had to just throw that on me. What I'm chasing, my pursuit.
I'd say it can be anything. I mean, it varies. The last guy said be human, which was a powerful statement. Yeah. But some people, like maybe it could be the best follower of God or whatever the case is. I think just for you, like what is your relentless pursuit in life? Like what is the thing that as you trudge forward is the most?
I would say love God more, because there's more than just that saying. What is involved with loving God is a broad spectrum of like a lot of things, because if you love God, then you'll do what he's asked you to do, which only leads you to be a better person. Yes. There's nothing wrong that leads you down a bad path with what he's saying, with what is to love him with all your heart and to love your neighbor with all your heart.
And that'll bleed into the rest of it.
Yeah. It'll bleed the rest. All of it comes together.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Man, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, it was a pleasure. I had a blast, man. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, out of your week to come share your story with me and just discuss a multitude of different things. I had a killer time, and I look forward to next time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey,
appreciate it, buddy.
Yes, sir. All right. Y'all take care.